Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on an edition of Ask the Experts. This is our live stream show with Royal Lepage Binder Live. Happy to have you along for the ride yet again. My name is Arms Bumanlag, and this is the show where we dive into some of our preferred suppliers that offer tremendous value, insight, and expertise in their particular fields. And these are businesses and individuals that we work with closely from our preferred supplier list at Royal Lepage Binder Real Estate. So it's a chat with those suppliers to find out a little bit more about how they can help you, save you some money, get some great expertise as well, and kind of be with you down the road with whatever need that you may have. Our guest today is from Premium Insurance Brokers. They're a relatively new insurance brokerage here in Windsor and Essex County. They're making their presence known. What they do is they try to make a difference in the insurance industry in order to better assist their clients, serve any and all needs, and really ensure that they're providing nothing but quality information for you and your family. Because quite honestly, there's a lot of information to unpack when you're looking to insure your family, your business, or perhaps you're insuring that new home purchase that you're utilizing through one of our many agents from Royal Lepage Binder Real Estate. So I'm very happy and honored to welcome somebody who's got quite the gamut of knowledge that we can tap into here on the show. Joining us is the CEO and co-founder of Premium Insurance Brokers, Nabil Ghamraoui, who is joining us on the program. Nabil, good to see you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the show. It's an honor to be here.
So let's talk a little bit about how you guys got started with Premium Insurance Brokers and what you are continuing to do. How did you get started here in the industry?
So I started in the industry roughly about 10 years ago. I actually worked for a different brokerage in the city. About 2 years ago, my partner and I, Omar Chafchak, we actually opened up the office on Dougal Premium Insurance in June 2019. We were lucky enough to team up with a company called Oracle RMS based out of Toronto. And we had the chance to team up with them. We were able to acquire lots of personal lines contracts with companies, different insurance companies for commercial and personal lines.
That's awesome. So you have that experience, at least a decade here in the Windsor-Essex area, to kind of see things and how they continue to develop here in the Windsor-Essex area for insurance. So forming Premium Insurance, what do you guys offer for folks who are looking to utilize your services and your expertise?
So we pretty much like to look at ourselves as a one-stop shop. Honestly, we can insure everything. We do personal lines, commercial, your home, your rental, your condo, your hard-to-place homes, your vacant commercial properties, you're building a home, you're buying a plaza. It doesn't matter really what it is. As long as it's in Ontario, we can go ahead and get you covered at the end of the day. So that's kind of one thing that we're trying to help change. I don't want to say change the industry. We're trying to make it easier for consumers. So when you come to us and you have your car in your home, and then one day you decide to buy that investment property, you don't have to go shopping for another insurance company. Just call us up. We have several companies that we deal with, and if it's not the same company as your car and home, we'll put it with a different company. You know, we work with over 40 different insurance companies across Canada. So it's really nice to have that market behind you. And honestly, for clients, we don't say no. The no doesn't exist for us. Well, we can't do this for you. There's everything. There's a company for every product out there.
Yeah, it's interesting you should say that, Nabil, because if you're a busy professional and you've got a wife and kids and you're trying to do what you got to do from a 9-to-5 perspective, it's like, you know, you have to secure these different policies because you need to be insured, but you don't want to necessarily having to call 15 different things. You just want to go to somebody who's the expert who can sort of open up that viewpoint to say, here's all the options for you across the board. What's going to work for you and your family, and how can we save you some money while we're doing that as well?
You know, another thing too, because I've been doing this for such a long time and you get to meet so many different types of people because we insure every type of business out there. When clients call us, we honestly have enough experience to sit there and educate them and even tell them, you know, let's go with this avenue. I know you're trying to do this, but let's try something else. You know, we'll give them ideas. We've worked with contractors in the city, for example, when you're coming to build a home. We've done things for clients that other companies, other brokers or agents out there wouldn't do. I've had lawyers call me on the same day of closing, say, hey, Nabil, you don't know this guy, but he needs closing. His insurance broker, his insurance agent didn't come through. I say, just, you know what, give me his phone number. Within an hour, we'll get this deal closed. Don't worry about it.
That's awesome. That's peace of mind for a lot of folks too, because, you know, I've often said here on the show and certainly with some of our live streaming that we've done with our sales team and folks underneath the Royal Lepage Binder umbrella that people come to professionals like yourself and professionals like the team at Royal Lepage Binder because they want that expertise. They want that comfort to know that, hey, this person knows what they're doing. They know what they're able to do, and they're with you down. You're not only just helping them, Nabeel, you're also assisting them because it is like when you're buying a house, it's really stressful sometimes from a buyer's perspective,
and
right?
For most people, it's their largest investment they do in their life. And now it's crazy in Windsor. Like now, like to buy a home, it's like $500,000. Like it's not. So
it's not something to laugh at, right? Like in the sense that like, you want somebody who's going to be in your corner, essentially.
100%. We'll make it as easy as possible. We've had, this has happened to me many times. It's happened to my partner Omar many times, where we've talked to a client and they've bought insurance for 10, 15, 20 years of their life. And at the end of the conversation, they'll say, this is the first time really I actually know what I'm buying when it comes to my insurance policy. Because we really explain it. When it comes to a home policy, we'll tell you actually what you're getting. Because some people, most people don't know. Like I didn't know until I joined the industry, like what are certain coverages actually meant for. So we really try our best to educate clients. We've worked with so many realtors. We've worked with Royal Lepage many, many times. So dealing with premium, we really try to make things a lot easier for the consumer.
That way too, it's funny you should say that, Nabeel, too. Once you get somebody who's interested and you find a policy and certainly a provider that works for them, you're able to mitigate any surprises down the road, right?
Correct.
I think so often with something in insurance, I know for me personally, it's like, okay, yeah, we'll sign it, whatever, this is covered. But then if you can kind of outline and show that roadmap to say, hey, this is what it covers, this is what it doesn't cover, and this is what is going to benefit you based on your needs for your family, business, whatever it is. And I think that's a big part of it too. So when life happens, there's no surprises to say, well, I thought it was covered and I wasn't covered.
Correct. Yeah. And our name says it, premium insurance. We sell premium products. Like we try our best when we're going to offer you a home policy, for example, we're giving you an all risk policy, like everything's covered. We're literally going to tell you what's not covered because the list is so small. So we're not going to sit there and tell you what is covered because that list is way too long. We'll simply tell you like earthquakes are not covered because earthquakes don't happen. But if you want earthquake coverage, we can't offer it. Things like that it just we make things easier for the consumer at the end of the day. And like I said before, it's like a one-stop shop. Like yourself, you operate your business out of home. Imagine you called your insurance company and they said, oh, we can't do this. And now you're like, oh my God, I got to go find somebody who's going to go do my business insurance. And then you call them and say, well, we want to insure your home. Well, your home's not up for renewal. And then you got a penalty and all this kind of stuff. So it's just a headache. Dealing with a broker and a brokerage that has so many companies and so many different products to offer, it makes a huge difference. And it makes a difference not just for the consumer. Like I'm talking about everybody, the real estate agent, the lawyer who's dealing with the property, everything. We make it easier on everybody.
One topic, and I'm glad that, we're able to connect here and do the live stream and chat a little bit about, the benefits of, using you folks to make sure that you're covered. Something that I've talked about many years over my time in broadcast, or stories that I have done extensively because I saw the issues. My wife and I have purchased, I think, 3 homes total now, bought and sold. And one of the things that I know that was drilled into my head many years ago, when you're looking at homes here locally, is I call it the dreaded 5 word when it comes to plumbing, the 5 letters in the word KaiTech. And what that entails, because I remember like we would go into a house, see KaiTech personally, and I'd be like, nope, turn right around. So let's talk about that. It seems to be somewhat prevalent here in the Windsor Essex area, and sewer backups too, because that is also huge in this area.
Yeah. So KaiTech Plumbing, I believe, was introduced somewhere between, I think it was 1999 to 2006. So anytime you see a home built from 99 to 2006, there's a high likelihood it's going to have KaiTech Plumbing. KaiTech Plumbing to 95% of insurance company is a no-no. Like they just don't want it. And it's the simplest thing. It's just where the pipes meet, there's a joint. And sometimes that joint where the hot water is actually, it expands and then you end up having water seepage that will happen from that pipe. So, and it's very actually common when it comes to KaiTech Plumbing. So a lot of companies say we're not interested. There are markets though that do it. They put high deductibles. They put limitations on it, though. They'll say, well, we'll cover you for $25,000 worth of damages only. We do have even policies that we offer our clients saying, well, you know what, Nabeel, I want the home. I want to close the deal, but my insurance company right now, for example, won't do KaiTech Plumbing. So I'll say to them, no problem. I can insure you for like a 3-month rental policy. You go into the home, you rip out all the plumbing, you put the new plumbing in, and at that time, we can flip it into a proper home policy. So we have different options for KaiTech Plumbing. And to make things easier for home buyers and agents, looking at the pipe, even in homes nowadays, brand new homes, they look like KaiTech Plumbing. It's still plastic. It's still red and blue. The easiest way to tell if it's KaiTech Plumbing is the flex on it. So the difference between plastic and KaiTech is KaiTech was built with a plastic layer, then aluminum, and then another piece of plastic. That aluminum is what was the problem. The new type of plastic doesn't have any aluminum in it at all. So if you want to test the product, if you go to a home and you're looking, you're not sure whether it's KaiTech or not, you can always take a picture and send it to us and we'll tell you. But if you're not sure, all you got to do is try to bend it. If you can bend it and it pops back into place, then it's just straight plastic. If you bend it and it doesn't pop back into place, then it's got some sort of aluminum in it. It's holding it to place. So that's how you can tell right away if it's KaiTech.
So the KaiTech issue is something that I know you guys deal with from a coverage standpoint. And then obviously, you know, a lot of homes, I mean, we were one of the homes back in 2017 when that massive flood hit Windsor, Essex. It was like August into September, August 31st in September, where like everything was almost underwater.
Yeah.
You know, sewer backups. That's obviously a big issue for a lot of folks here too, getting the proper coverage for something like that. 100%.
It was a huge problem and it still remains to be a big problem in Windsor. Some areas have gotten better, but some are still quite bad. Some insurance companies have gone actually quite clever. They know now from your postal code actually how bad, it's based on tiers now, how bad your tier is for flooding. They'll actually know because, you know, your neighbors have all had floods and all that kind of stuff, or even the home that you live in has had a flood in the past. So some companies will offer you unlimited sewer backup. Some of them will offer you none, and some of them will cap you. So we have a product for it all, but it's just, there's a cost to it. Some companies will sit there just for that additional charge. They'll charge you an additional $700 a year, for example. Saying if you want $50,000 in coverage, yeah, it's $700 a year. Or you have some areas where it's like a high value home. The insurance companies say, yeah, we'll give them sewer backup. We obviously can't limit a high value home because, you know, the base was probably $200,000-$300,000. We're going to put a high deductible. You know, it might be a $25,000 deductible, something ridiculous like that. So there is a problem in Windsor for it. We do have a solution. Sometimes the cost is not the greatest, but I'll tell you, the city has done a good job by giving grants to put a back water valve and put a sump pump in your home. These things make a big difference. You know, a lot of sewer backup claims happen because it's raining so much. You got electricity surges that happen and your power goes out of your home. Your power goes out of your home, your sump pump's not working if it's on electricity. There's now solutions to that. There's backup sump pumps. There's battery backup sump pumps. There's even generator backup sump pumps. All of these things help out with your premium. And not only with the premium, help out with your coverages. When you have the proper mitigation in place, we can give you better coverages. Instead of giving you 10, 20, 30,000, we can up it up to 50,000. And you want to tell my clients, I said, the insurance companies are clever. They're giving you more, but at the end of the day, the chances of something happening to your home now are so slim because you've taken all the proper measures. You've got that back water valve in the home. You've got that backup to the sump pump. So these things make, and you know what? There's a lot of companies now in Windsor that actually do this type of work too, that install sump pumps and do back water valves. And a lot of them work with the city, and people need to take advantage of those grants. I think it's $2,800 or $3,200 in a grant. It's worth taking.
I was going to say it's a great way to safeguard your investment in the house, right? And that's peace of mind. I know so many people, and we were one of those people, Nabeel, that when we used to live in South Walkerville, it's like anytime there was a heavy rain, I would just instant anxiety. It's
Mhm.
like, oh man, like I can't, if I'm at work, when I was working in the office, I come home, it's like, oh God, please don't let there be water in the basement.
You
But
have anxiety? Me. I'm thinking about all my clients. I'm like, oh my God. I get so worried. In that flood in 2017, no
yeah,
lie, me and the other brokers in my team, we were at clients' house with sump pumps taking water out. Like
oh
we
God
felt
bless you.
so bad. Like it was just disastrous that time.
Yeah, I just started a new job, and I remember my wife calling me and she's like, I just finished the basement. Like I just finished the basement, putting the flooring down like a week before. And I come home and I heard the gurgle and I'm like, "Oh God." I go downstairs, it was like a foot and a half, and I'm like, "Oh my God." Like don't even get me started right now. Called my father-in-law over, we're cutting 3 feet out. It was just a mess, but
Yeah.
hey, it pays to have good insurance, right?
It does,
You know,
and at that time when it happened, I think like 20,000 or 30,000 homes got affected.
yeah,
Like, you know, I'm not gonna say, regardless of what insurance company you had, there was simply not enough people in the city of Windsor to
oh for
help.
sure.
Like, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was tough times at that point.
You know, always a pleasure to chat with you. We got to do this more often. Before we wrap it up here on the show, Nabil, tell me about, working with Frank Binder and the team at Royal Lepage. You had mentioned that you worked with so many of our agents and sales folks. What's the experience been like for you?
Honestly, it's been great actually. I got to meet Frank about 4 or 5 years ago. He's been a really good guy, very very kind and generous to my family. Actually, my brother-in-law actually used to work for Royal LePage for his name was Omar Alashi. He passed away, and that's actually how I got to meet Frank. Very very kind, very very generous person to my family. Helped us out a lot. Royal LePage has always been there for us, honestly. We were at the golf tournament not too long ago. It was nice to see the agents. It was nice to go back and to go back in the public and actually get to see people again, just because of the COVID.
Yeah.
But thanks for inviting me to the show. It was nice chatting with you, Arms. And I hope I can continue to work with Royal LePage and all their agents.
Yeah, and it's been a real pleasure to get to know you over the last couple of months too. And I think I echo what our brokerage says. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we're happy to have you as one of our newest preferred suppliers. So, Nabil, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we can do this again soon. I'm sure there's lots of ground that we can cover here on the stream. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. So yeah, premium insurance brokers, they're just fantastic to deal with, one of our preferred suppliers, and they know what they're talking about. As Nabil said, they will find the policy that fits for you, not only financially, but certainly from a coverage standpoint too, whether it is a home business, whether it is your new home, a purchase, or maybe you just want to see what's possible in terms of what you need in terms of coverage. So highly recommend that you spend some time and go to our preferred supplier page at royallepagebinder.com. All that information is there for you. Great guy to deal with as well. So that's going to do it for Ask the Experts here on Royal LePage Binder Live. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay tuned for more live streams right here on Royal LePage Binder's Facebook. And if you're watching the rebroadcast on YouTube, check out all of our our previous videos in our video list with all sorts of great expert advice from folks right here in Windsor and Essex County. So have a great rest of the afternoon. Stay safe, and we will see you back here on Royal LePage Binder Live. And yes, Raina says this guy knows his stuff. That's why we have them on Ask the Experts. So thanks so much for joining us. Take care.